And welcome to another great show of
Tampa
Fishing Outfitters
Fishing Report.
Live Fishing Report.
Way to cover it up.
Yeah. You do something for so long and you get into a habit of, we've all said as we get together and talk about during the week going, we're all still calling this radio.
Yeah.
Even though we're not on radio anymore, we old habits are hard to break. But anyway, welcome, and hopefully we'll have some good information for you guys tonight and something you can use on the water, and maybe we can get some input from you and some questions, and we can help any way we can.
Absolutely.
So welcome back from LA, boys.
Yeah.
It's been pretty.
LA was
It's nice.
pretty cool, man.
But it wasn't that nice.
Well, these guys sent me some pictures while they were up there fishing. He didn't send me no tournament pictures, and that was and I know how that goes. You guys sent me some pictures of some pre-fishing, and you guys caught some toads.
Yeah, we did, man. The redfish in there is phenomenal. The accommodations, not so much. The Wi-Fi, not so much. If you pretty much,
but you didn't go there for that.
No, and if you're going there for anything but fishing, you might not want to go.
It's all about fishing, baby.
Yeah, I mean, they could actually step it a little bit in their accommodations department. I mean, but besides that, it was fun. We had a good time. We had a tough day 2. Day 1, we weighed fish. We had a little under 12 pounds. I think Travis had a little over 12 pounds. Typical fish were there all week. Tournament day, just curveball.
That's the way it is, man. It's like deer hunting.
Day 2 got worse for us. We actually had more weight on day 2, but we cracked our sight casting platform. We broke a power pole. Had a 27 on the dot. Tail was split from the braid. Threw it back. Killed a fish.
Was the weather rough out there?
Huh? Do you want me to keep going?
It was
Hey, you got to strap them things down.
What? The
platforms.
No, it was strapped down.
You can't run hard.
We run hard.
Okay.
You tell Brian Visavac we ain't running hard.
Brian, strap it down if you're gonna run hard.
No, it was bolted in. It just cracked from running. But yeah, we broke a power pole. We actually had 2 fish and finished our day off by grabbing the fish. Brian did. Let me rephrase that.
Toss him back, Tommy.
And the fish shot out of his hands and went right in the water.
That's a rough day, man.
I said, let's go get a beer. Call it a day. But it was fun. We had a good time. I thought Delacroix was good as far as numbers, and then I went to Venice.
Yeah.
The water was very dirty. I still don't understand Venice because it had very dirty conditions, and I'm not sure if that's normal.
Yeah, we're talking Venice, Louisiana, not Venice, Florida.
Yeah, no, Venice, Louisiana. It's a lot of fun though. You know, if you want to go somewhere and catch fish and artificials, if you want to catch big redfish,
yeah,
it's the place to go. I will tell you this: that if you do book with a guide and you decide to go to Louisiana, I would recommend that you make sure you tell the guide what you want to do. Otherwise, you might be trout fishing.
Yeah.
Because that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's, you know, like what we've talked about several times. I mean, they do a whole lot of different. Their angle on everything's a little bit different. You know, it's more get the limit.
They're about
get the meat. You know, that's their whole concept. I mean, well, but even places like Homa or even Slidell or even Delacroix, it seems like maybe not so much in Delacroix, but sight fishing just isn't as majestic as us coming in to that fishery. Right. You know, look at it. You know, there's something about going out and wiggling your way up in a pond or something like that, and just seeing redfish float all around, and you pick which one you want to catch, kind of deal.
Let's be real though. What we did in Delacroix, it'd be very hard to do with a guide. It was hard for me to do. You got to make quick decisions, short cast, and hit them right on the head. To have somebody sight fish and make that quick reaction cast, and then that reaction, let the bait stop, let it move. It would be something that I wouldn't target every day as a charter. I'd have to have the right people in the boat.
Exactly.
It is advanced fishing by far. Now, the good thing about Venice is you're fishing more jetties, and like we were blind fishing because the water just like chocolate milk. I don't know if that was from the hurricane that came through the Friday before, or if that's just Venice like that, because I've never fished it before.
Well, that's just where you guys fished. I mean,
well, everywhere we went in Venice, there was no clear water. Which not saying there wasn't everywhere, but
yeah, I mean, it's just like in any other place that I've found. I mean, you'll find some of those ponds that've got a lot of grass in them, and in the middle of those grassy areas, they act like filters, and so there is some clean water, or I wouldn't call it clear water, but cleaner water, up in some of the ponds. But a lot of the dark water fishing is honestly where we caught some of our fatter fish. We kind of figured out, and the whole popping cork thing is not my style of fishing, period.
Right. But it's productive.
But we adapted to it, and what we figured
That's
out
an
was
understatement.
What we kind of figured out was that the fish that the areas that a lot of guys said that they like to fish, or that they would normally fish this time of year, or in Venice in general, there was fish there. So a lot of people felt unconfident because you couldn't see them.
Right.
So we on day one we went big and we fished on some fish that most of them were over, but they were big fat fish, and so we kind of swung for the fences and brought back some smaller fish, but still put up like 12.5 pounds with a 23 and a 24-inch fish. So day two we kind of regrouped and said, there's got to be fish in this area. A lot of guys, I mean, that was the interesting thing is, Venice is a place to where on the Redfish Tour, a lot of guys will run from, say, Delacroix or Homa or Grand Isle. They'll run to Venice to go fish for these fish. And that was the interesting thing was I'd say most of the teams didn't feel confident in Venice and ran, out, whether it was to Barrier Islands, Gulf Side, out on the outside of some of these ponds. But a lot of the guys, I would say probably most of the teams, some of the top teams came from Delacroix. They ran up that way.
Tournament was one of Delacroix.
Strictly to sight fish. I don't necessarily think it was because there's bigger weight there or here, but it was that advantage of being able to sight fish. And
well,
so a lot of guys, went up there to kind of do that. So, heck, right around the corner we were sight fishing. So it was.
There was some big fish caught out of Venice. The winners I know came out of Delacroix area. The thing about Delacroix is you get in these ponds and you can look at the fish, and if they're small, you just don't even waste your time. Where Venice, and I think Venice, your numbers are higher from what we did. So you're going to catch 40 redfish, and you got to find 27-inch fish. Although it sounds like a great time, you're wasting a lot of time catching pointless fish,
right,
whether too big or too small. The neatest thing we did, we found, I will tell you how much redfish there are there, Rick. We went in an area we never fished. We're coming back from we're out along the jetties. We didn't smoke 50 redfish. I caught like a fish as long as my leg redfish. I was like, guys, I'm done. I can't really do anything to top this. I mean, it was like, by the way, on a 7-foot St. Croix, 8 to 12 pound class rod with 15-pound braid.
Nice.
So we went in to see if we could find some upper slots, and we found a mudded up bank, deep bank, and it was mud edges. It basically, you know what it reminded me of when we first pulled in there? I said, we can catch down here. It looked like the mouth of the Alafai River. From, the ship is to the mouth. It looked like that, but muddier. Like, I think Brian goes, we're in the tower on one side. We start throwing, I was throwing Cajun Thunder, popping cork with a Z-Man black and gold jig head, every cast, 24-inch red, 25, obviously what we wanted.
Right.
So we go to the other side. And the other side, like a little bank with a little bit of shallow bank and drop off. So we start going down. We could sight fish that. Brian goes, is this land of the giants? We go 100 yards. We see a 42-inch redfish we sight cast, a 30-pound jack, and it had to be the biggest sheeps that I've ever seen in my life, probably 9 or 10 pounds.
Wow.
All in like 100 yards. It was, and there was just redfish on this bank like you would not believe. But they were all over. We sight cast at one right out of the bushes. I mean, literally on the bushes, like 40-something inch.
Wow.
So it was very neat. It was that was Venice. That was one of the few spots that we were to sight cast fish. But as a whole, the water was dirty in Venice. Travis obviously found some clearer water area, but I think as a whole, everywhere we went, it was just like chocolate milk water. Tournament-wise, we just had your typical tournament day. It didn't work out. We actually had 14 pounds on day 2 that we let go, but 13 pounds somewhere in there. Could have had more, but it wasn't going to do anything for us anyways. But it was a neat experience. I will tell anybody that if you want to go sight fish, catch redfish, lots of trout, and you've never been there, it's worth the trip. It was very exciting, very different. I would recommend checking it out. taking a travel. I would not recommend taking your kids and your wife there, not unless they absolutely love to fish.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, when I tell you nothing, nothing. Like you're on a strip of land.
Well, and most of the people that go to Venice
are there to fish.
You're at the end of the world, man.
Yeah.
That's the last stop before the end of the Mississippi.
Well, let's get to some of this stuff because I would think our average viewer out there could care less about Delacroix and Venice
100%.
right now. So a couple things that we need to go over here for Tampa Fishing Outfitters is, one, there's a bass tournament. It's a photo upload tournament. It started on October 1st. It goes all the way to the 27th. It's bass. What you need to do is you need to come in here to Tampa Fishing Outfitters. They will give you, let me see here, the official tournament ruler is in the store that you have to pick up. It don't look like there's a cost to this, and the prizes are $200. The largest bass is $200, or the largest bass, but the largest bass is a $200 TFO gift card, and one submission will be selected randomly for another $200 gift card. So that's pretty cool. If you're a bass fisherman, come in here, get your measuring device and get in that. It don't cost you nothing. And the other thing is something we're going to draw here on, what was it, November 1st?
November 1st. We're going to
November
be doing
1st is a 16-pole fishing rack, custom made, and I'm going to try to bring this in where they can see it.
Yeah, roll it in here.
But you have to come in. You have to come into TFO and get a entry form. But with that, you can win this. Is that going to be too high?
No, you got it. Travis, you look small.
And but yeah,
there you
it's
go.
pretty cool.
All aluminum.
Right
It's lightweight. It's even light enough. Travis is holding it. So
I thought this was heavy.
this is pretty cool. I'd actually like to have one of these.
They are really nice.
This is pretty neat. But anyway, the drawing is November 1st, and I think Joy is actually going to come up and draw for that. But you have to come in and get one of these and leave it here, and you have a chance to win. Holds 10 rods.
That's right. Get you one.
That's right.
Custom racks, custom rod rack, 16 pole, and you get your choice of whatever fish you want. I don't know if you said that.
That's not the actual one. That one,
right.
That's only a 10.
You'll get one built.
You get
whatever,
one bigger than that.
Whatever you want.
Probably
right.
get to pick your fish. I would imagine.
You get to pick whatever fish you want on the top, and it's actually they've been running it for a little while now, and we're kind of getting towards the end of it. And like you said, November 1st we're going to be doing the drawing. So if you haven't got in and back, Tampa Fishing Outfitters. Live fishing report here at on site Tampa Fishing Outfitters here in Tampa, off Osborne. One of our great sponsors. If you haven't been into the store, you got to come check this place out. Any and everything.
They got it all
here. So if you haven't been down here, come check us out. We're also going to be doing a here soon. We're going to have a rack in the store where we're going to all pick some stuff that we like, some of our favorites, and stick them up there. So you'll have to come in and check that out here real soon too. But let's talk a little local fishing, guys. I know. I honestly have not been on the water since I got back, but I know Jason's fished a few trips.
Top left corner.
I think what's that? I think we're good.
Okay.
But anyway, let's talk a little local fishing real quick, guys. We are actually going to cut the show a little bit short with some issues, but a Go ahead and give us a report, Rick.
Well, I've been fishing pretty steady and fished a lot while you guys were gone. And fishing's actually pretty good. We had big numbers today. Didn't catch no big fish, but lots of numbers. The issue that I'm having still is bait. Last week bait was easy. This week bait's hard. There's a ton of little micro baits out there right now, and you got to weed through them to get the good baits. And I threw the net today and caught probably 1,000 baits in the net, and there was 200 of them usable, and the other 800, 700
I threw the towel.
Stuck, and 100 of them shook out, and it was.
I threw the towel yesterday, man. I ran to the bridge and smoked it.
And,
I mean, I asked. It won't stay alive in the well, and then you got dead stuff, and you really find out how much you have. I ran. I smoked it. I threw twice and filled 80 gallons of well up. I threw in the towel. I haven't made that run, but I did it yesterday.
But if somebody's out there recreational fishing now and you're not in a hurry, you can find the right bait if you just take your time and.
Well, just plan on pressure washing your net every day on the South Shore, because at Gandy I got a report from Captain Rick Silkworth that the bait's actually good up there.
Well, but even on the South Shore, if you nose around long enough, you'll find those pockets of better bait. It's just we don't have the the luxury of doing that. We're on a time schedule, and we got to get back to the dock.
I don't have any problems rolling out with a handful of white baits and a bucket full of pinfish. I really don't.
I don't either. And I've been fishing a lot of cut
work live
pinfish.
And they'll work cut just as good. I mean,
but you're still going to get all that in your net catching pinfish.
100%.
You're still going to have the issues with the little baits because unless you can find a spot that only has pinfish, and I ain't found that.
Well, you get
to chum them up.
What I've found is a lot of times you get off if there's some white bait or some pilchards. Shallower. A lot of times you get just outside that depth. Say bait's in 2 foot of water. You get out to 4, 6, and a lot of times you'll find them pinfish, especially the bigger ones.
That may be something.
I had plenty of pinfish.
Back to old school, but a lot of times when I'm looking just for pinfish, I'll use jack mackerel. Because it's bigger chunks.
I had no problems finding pinfish.
Another trick that we used to use live bait redfish is we would actually use those micro.
Right.
Like if you threw your net inshore and you got a bunch of small baits, knock them out, and you can actually use those and rip them in half and throw them, and the pinfish will come up, and you'll kind of dial those in. But I don't have any problem using pinfish, man. I
and
really
the little
don't.
baits work good for chum. I mean, I was slinging little baits.
There's some snappers
for chum
still
today,
around. You can do some snapper fishing. So yeah, it's all pretty good. I mean, this time of year, I'll be honest with you, especially when some of the redfish schools come in, and I know Jason's the same way. We'll normally have a couple artificials tied up, especially when a redfish school comes in, or even another technique is to take those smaller baits and use them for chum, and use a soft plastic or a top water, and use that as your bait after you've got the fish kind of fired up. That'll work as well.
Yeah, and guys, we had a question. Travis asked, Matt, thanks, we are back, man. We're trying to get the quirks worked out of this deal, but Travis asked where the redfish in Tampa Bay. It's a good question, man. We're catching some reds. We're not getting schooled up red. North part of the bay, I know there's some schools of reds, but you really it's not easy. Nothing is easy that I've done.
I mean, my experience this time of year going back on populations of redfish are generally going to be on your more open bars, areas like the bar out in front of Piney Point, Bishop's Harbor, the bar between Bishop's Harbor and Port Manatee, the outside bar at Joe's Island. Those are the bars, Rattlesnake Key. They'll get over the bar and get up in the bushes, or actually meander along on the flats, depending on the tide. And some of those bigger trout will start to lay out there, depending on sometimes where that line of bait is. So that's my experience, especially on this low water. I was looking for next week for my trips, and I plan on trying to do some redfish schools on some of these bigger sandbars that I know these fish should be on. So fish up under the bushes for your singles and solos. The bigger schools are probably going to be more out in the open or on the edges of the sandbars. My opinion.
Yeah,
and follow the mullet.
My opinion on fishing: if something's not real good, don't waste your whole day doing it.
Right.
Snook fishing's great. We're starting to see some trout. No real big trout, but I think they've had the spawn. St. Pete seems to have quite a bit of trout. So go what the hot bite is. Not necessarily if you want to target redfish and they're not real good. I mean, you're probably not going to have a great day, but you can go, the snook fishing's real good. Why not go target snook and have a good day? I think we get too wrapped up in particulars on fishing sometimes. we have to do that all the time as charters. Somebody wants to catch redfish. I'm like, well, they haven't been real good. We can try, but
I saw. Funny you said. I saw a guy out there today from Sarasota, and y'all know who he is. I don't want to mention the name, but he was just like, I saw him running to where we typically see schools, and man, he was there for 5 minutes and he'd run, there for 5 minutes and run, and then later on I saw him coming back and looking, and I know what he was doing. He had guys on his boat that wanted to catch redfish, and I thought, man, that's the
run and gun approach.
Yeah,
you
could do that for 4 hours and never find them, and you're burning a bunch of fuel, and nobody's wetting lines, and it. But if you got that group that's what they want to do, you got to do it. But that's just not. I was feeling for him today. I was like, man, sorry, bud.
Well,
it's tough.
It is what it is.
It's tough, especially when you're fishing schools. A lot of times we'll try to position ourselves around an area where a school would be, and kind of float the time on snook fishing or trout fishing, or maybe doing some single red fishing up in the bushes or whatever. And then always keep your eye out for those schools and position yourself in an area where you got a pretty good idea where they're going to show up.
Right.
And
but you're still catching fish.
Right,
while
you're still catching fish. You're actively fishing a redfish tournament.
Oh yeah.
You're looking for two fish and the right two fish and everything else. So different idea there. But
well, we had the first cold front come through yesterday, and our cool front. I don't know if you guys noticed. You walk outside, a little windy, a little bit cooler. That's what we need. We really need some of this fry bait to push off the flats a little bit. We need some bigger bait to show up on the flats. We need these fish to get hungry. They're not hungry. They can pick and choose on any flat at any given day what to eat. So, these upcoming weeks, you're going to have to deal with the wind, but look for, things to change. Every year is different. My 14 years of guiding, I can't compare the year before to the year now. I mean, it seems like it's getting worse. It seems like the patterns used to be easier.
They did.